With that, the unraveling quietly began. Ledbetter had molded her swing since childhood, a motion built on rhythm, simplicity, and precision. But as pressure mounted and expectations grew, Lydia wanted more power, more distance, more modern technique. She turned to a new coach, a new swing, and a new philosophy. From the outside, it looked like evolution. But inside the ropes, something was slipping. Her once fluid tempo became mechanical. Her confidence, the invisible weapon behind her dominance, started to fracture. Ledbetter later described it as a case of too many voices. Lydia, still barely 20, had cycled through coaches, caddies, and equipment changes like a veteran searching for answers. Each shift brought hope, and then more confusion. By 2017, the girl who made golf look effortless was suddenly fighting herself. Missed cuts replaced trophies. The smile stayed, but the spark behind it dimmed. Fans didn't understand. How could someone so gifted lose the very magic that seemed built into her DNA? The truth is, Lydia Ko wasn't just battling her swing. She was battling identity. The world expected her to stay perfect forever. But perfection isn't sustainable. It breaks you, slowly, quietly, until even your greatest gift starts to feel like a burden. And for Lydia, the burden was beginning to show, and Lydia Ko, once celebrated as golf's most unshakable prodigy, had suddenly become its mystery. Behind the calm exterior, she was navigating chaos. Every new coach promised clarity. Every new swing theory promised revival. But the more she tried to rebuild, the less she recognized the player in the mirror. Golf, the game that once felt instinctive, now demanded constant overthinking. Each round became an experiment, not an expression. It wasn't just her mechanics that had changed. It was the meaning of the game itself. What once brought her joy had turned into survival. And when the joy disappears, no amount of talent can fill the void. Yet through all the noise, the criticism, the body shaming, the endless speculation, Lydia never lashed out. She didn't defend herself on social media. She didn't clap back at commentators. She simply showed up, week after week, trying to rediscover the spark that had once made her unstoppable. But golf is cruel that way. It doesn't reward effort, it rewards belief. And for a time, Lydia Ko, the smiling assassin, no longer believed in herself. Still, something in her refused to quit. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was resilience. Or maybe it was a quiet understanding that greatness isn't proven when everything goes right. It's proven when everything falls apart. And you keep swinging anyway. As the rumors grew, the story around Lydia Ko began to feel less like a sports narrative and more like a controlled performance. Every public moment seemed carefully curated. Every word, every smile, every silence. Some fans saw a young woman under protection. Others saw a brand under management. The truth, as always, lived somewhere in between. What's undeniable is that Lydia endured it all without breaking character. No scandals, no public breakdowns, no explosive interviews, just quiet persistence. While the world dissected her downfall, she kept showing up, grinding through the noise, trying to rediscover the simple joy of the game that once defined her. In an era obsessed with transparency, her restraint became its own kind of rebellion, a reminder that strength isn't always loud, and recovery doesn't need an audience. What Lydia Ko ultimately fought for wasn't revenge or validation, it was peace. Her journey back to the top began not with a perfect shot, but with perspective. Under the guidance of coach Sean Foley, she rebuilt her game from the inside out, learning that her worth wasn't tied to a number on a leaderboard. That shift changed everything. Her swing found rhythm, her confidence returned, and in 2021, she captured her first victory in 3 years at the LPGA Championship. It felt like a rebirth. More wins followed, including a return to world number 1 and the LPGA Player of the Year honor in 2022. Off the course, she found balance in love, marrying Chung Jun, a Hyundai heir, in a quiet ceremony that reflected her new outlook on life. After years of being dissected, doubted, and dismissed, Lydia Ko had done something far rarer than dominating golf again. She had reclaimed herself. And this time, the calm wasn't a mask. It was mastery. By 2024, Lydia Ko's journey had transformed into something cinematic, a story of resilience, redemption, and quiet strength. At the Paris Olympics, she played with unshakable composure, and when her final putt dropped, she claimed the gold medal, completing an unprecedented Olympic trifecta with gold, silver, and bronze to her name. Weeks later, she conquered St. Andrews, winning the AIG Women's Open and securing her place in the LPGA Hall of Fame at just 27, the youngest ever to do so. But her story isn't defined by trophies or medals, it's defined by endurance. Lydia Ko proved that greatness isn't about never falling, it's about rising, again and again, with grace. What once looked like silence was actually strength. What seemed like defeat was transformation. And what everyone thought was the end was really the beginning of her greatest chapter yet.